Hi friends, welcome to episode 36 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. Welcome if you are a new viewer. If you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back and spending a little more time with me today. I am coming to you from my home in Central Florida, and today is Monday. I always do this. Monday, April 23rd? Yes. Today is Monday, April 23rd. And is that everything for the intro? I think so. Again, welcome. Thanks for spending some time with me. Today we have I think a pretty full episode. It might actually be shorter than I normally go because I didn't even fill up a full page on my show notes. So let's go ahead and get started. And I have a finished object. Yay! I finally kicked myself in the butt and finished what was I calling these? The new jelly bean socks. They're called the new jelly bean socks because this colorway right here is Jelly Beans by Red Heart and Soul. And I had purchased two balls, like 250-gram balls from Hobby Lobby a while ago. And the first ball I used in my experiment socks to see how much sock I could get out of only 50 grams. Spoiler alert, it's quite short. It's like this tall. But I mean, I can get a sock. I can get a whole pair out of 50 grams. So I had this 50-gram ball and I was like, okay, I'm going to use contrast heels, toes, and cuffs and make myself some longer socks. So I have a pair. Now, they don't match because this was the first sock. So put that one down. So this is the second sock. I had knit all the way to the heel and the sock was stalled at the heel for like the longest time because I just didn't feel like knitting a heel. So I was just doing other things and I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. There's no rush on this sock. So the other day I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna carry this with me to work, work on it in between appointments or whatever, and I'm gonna get the heel knit. So I threw the project in my bag, and this one actually wasn't even in a project bag. I just chucked it in my tote bag. I get to work. I think I picked it up on my lunch break, and looking through my bag, lo and behold, I left the contrast yarn at home. And this contrast is Knit Picks Stroll in the color Sour Apple. So I left it at home and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm just gonna knit in the body yarn. I don't care, it's fine. It's fine. So I knit the heel in the same colorway. And it's kind of cool because it looks different the way that it pooled. Like you can specifically see where the heel is as compared to the striping on the rest of the sock. That's really cool. But anyhow, so I went ahead, I finished the heel, I knit down the foot, and then I did the contrast toe like I was supposed to do. So they are sisters, not twins. And I am perfectly okay with that. Like, I think that's one of the coolest things about making your own garments, accessories, socks, or whatever, is they're completely unique to you. So there's my finished pair of new jelly bean socks. And guys, I wove in the ends on this sock. Yeah, I didn't weave in the ends on this one though. So I mean, I'm halfway there. So yeah, finished object, hooray. And that's all I have for finished objects this week. So going into works in progress, I do have a hoe, or a half finished object. This is my first Exceedingly Vanilla sock. It is by Amanda Steck, and I am so glad I decided to follow her pattern exactly as she has written it because it makes a lot of sense. Of course, from here to here, it's just regular vanilla. 2x2 rib, well, German twisted cast on, 2x2 rib, a leg. I don't remember how long I made the leg. I hope I wrote that down. Heel flap and gusset, heel flap, gusset, and then the foot. So I talked last week about how she arranged the heel, like the heel stitches with all of the gusset stitches, the heel stitches on the back needle, and then just the instep stitches on the front needle. So we won't go into that again. But the cool thing about this pattern is once you get to the foot, she has you do some math based on your gauge and stuff like that so that you can determine exactly how many rows you should knit to get a perfect fit on your sock. So I was like, normally I knit 70 to 75 rows on my sock before starting my toe, and I use a modified version of a rounded toe that I found that fits my toes very well. So that's typically my recipe. So, you know, initially I just wanted to do what I was going to do, but then I was like, Kalisha, you're following this pattern, just do what the lady said. So I did the math, and it had me do, I forget how many rows it had me do before. Actually, it doesn't calculate how many rows, it calculates how many centimeters you need to knit before starting the toe. And for me, like, people who knit their socks by measurement, I get so stressed out with that thought, because I'm like, then I run the risk of it being different by like a couple rows. Like, if I don't stretch the sock the same way, like, I want my socks to be the same. They may not look the same, but I want them to have the same number of rows. So I did an extra step and calculated how many rows each one of the number of centimeters, blah, blah, blah. So I found how many rows, and I ended up having to knit 92 rows. So it's 92 rows from the end of the heel flap, or the end of the heel turn, to the start of the toe. And then the toe in her pattern is a lot shorter than the toes that I normally knit. See? But I'm actually really glad that I did the math, because it does fit really well. So I'm definitely going to use that like math to adjust my vanilla sock pattern, because in my go-to vanilla sock pattern, I do a short row wrap and turn heel. Short row wrap and turn heel. So of course, with the short row, it's a different number of rows in between the end of the heel. See? So I'm going to definitely use that math to try to figure out exactly how many stitches I need to put on my vanilla sock to get it to fit better. I mean, it fits good. It fits good. I have no complaints with it. But of course, you know, you can always tweak things. So that is my half object. These are also going to be entered into the Stripy Socks Cal that's being hosted by Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls. And I am halfway there. Hooray. Going forward though, one thing that I do want to do with my socks is knit a longer cuff. So right now I always do 20 rounds of 2x2 rib. Every cuff that I do now is German twisted cast on, 20 rounds of 2x2 rib, and then I go into the leg. So I think I want to go up to like 25 and see how that fits, because I just feel like I want more like cuff. So yeah, that's that. I've gotten maybe like this far into the second sock, so I'm not going to show it to you, because I said last week the next time you see these socks will be when they're finished objects, and I'm going to stick to that. So that is all of my FOs and HOs, and we're going to go on into WIPs. next WIP, okay, yeah. The next WIP is my big green cardigan. Now, I was working on this last night while watching a New to Me podcast. Her name is Heather, and she hosts the HDDC, or the HD Design Crochet podcast and blog. And I was watching her recap of her trip to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And I really liked her video because she, I don't know, she had like a different perspective than all the other ones that I was seeing. She stayed in a hostel, which I've never seen. Okay. I've never seen a hostel like what it actually is. Literally, the only context that I have for a hostel is that horror movie that came out in whenever that was. And so that's terrible. Like, you say, I stayed in a hostel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did somebody try to poke your eye out? So it was pretty cool to see like what a hostel actually is. And you know, to see her going to vendors that were not the typical ones that like everybody else was going to. So that was really cool. But while I was watching her video, I was working on the front band, the cable front band of Big Green. Y'all, please give me some suggestions on what I can call this cardigan, because I feel like calling it Big Green makes it, I don't even know. I don't like that name. So this, I finished the first front band and I don't like it. One, I decreased definitely too fast right here. So that needs to be adjusted. And two, I picked up way too many rows. So the cardigan body is flat, like it's flush. When I put the band on, it goes like this. So I will, I'll insert a like video or a picture of me wearing this so that you can see like the shenanigans that are happening. So that's how it looks. Yeah, you can see that curve. What was I doing? I don't even know. I don't even know. Yeah. So I'm trying not to like frustrate myself with this, because I really want to have this done for the Lady Wing Crafts, what is it, Spring Garment Cow, and that ends at the end of the month. So I have like, what's today, the 20 something? I have like a week and change to get this right. So I weighed my what is this, Aran Fleck. It had, I think it originally started out with, it was 140 grams in the ball, and I have like 65 left. So I used more than half of it in this side. So what I'm gonna do is leave this one where it sits. I'm gonna start on the other side, and I'm going to make it more narrow. So I'm gonna cut out some of these rows, and then I'm gonna figure something out with this. And also, I think what I'm going to do is mark where to insert my rows, like, because I'm crocheting it on. So I'm going to mark so that I can make sure that I'm actually doing the correct number of rows. So hopefully the second side with those adjustments will give me a better roadmap to make the corrections on the first side, because I'm just going to rip all this out. Oh my gosh. It legitimately breaks my heart. But I want it to be done right. And if it's not right, I'm not going to wear it. And there's no way that I'm going to spend all of this time making this freaking cardigan and being so excited about this cardigan, and then coming back to this cardigan, doing the two color cables, and then not wear it. Nah, bruh, that's not the life I'm living. So yeah, that's what's going on with Big Green. So if you have any tips about doing crocheted on edgings and determining where to attach like each row. I was going, at least I thought I was attaching row by row, which might have been the problem, because if I crochet across, attach it, step up, crochet back across, step up, crochet back across. That's what I did wrong. I was attaching it into every row, and I should have been attaching it into every other row. Thanks, guys. I can always count on you guys to be a good listening ear while I figure these foolish things out. Okay, all right. Okay, I got this. 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 Y'all don't understand, like, just thinking about going through all of that work and having it just be messed up, like, it actually made my chest tight right now. Let me take a sip. Everything is gonna be fine. Your artwork is not supposed to stress you out, guys. Okay, so I got this. Big Green is gonna get done. Please help me name this cardigan. Please help me. Okay, so next on the WIP list is, I just want to mention this. I'm not gonna show it to you because literally I've done 2 rows and you would look at it and be like, what the crap is that? So last week I showed the cross stitch kits that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby for like 50 cents. I started on the special teacher one. I'll put in a picture because I'm not showing it. I started on the special teacher one, and if you've ever done cross stitch, or this is what I'm understanding from the instructions, is that you divide your fabric into quadrants, and then you start in the middle, like to mark the middle, and then you do like the rows or whatever. I don't know if you're supposed to do like this whole quadrant and then this one, I don't know. So I marked the center and then I did that whole row. Because, like, I guess to do the crosses, you make the diagonals this way, and then you make the other ones coming back that way. Y'all, let me think. The first row had like 9 or 10 crosses in it, right? I think I got to like the 5th cross, and I wasn't even finished with the cross. I was just doing the first leg of the cross, and I was like, this is boring. I don't like this. I was like, okay, Kalisha, you've literally only been doing this for like 2 minutes, so you're not allowed to quit yet. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna finish this row. I finished the row and I was like, this is boring. I don't like this. Kalisha, just, and I think I was watching a YouTube video at the same time. I said, okay, you're just gonna continue cross stitching until the video is over, and then you can, you know, think about your opinion. So I keep little cross stitching, and I'm like this because it's tiny. I think I need giant cross stitching. Like, what is this? Little tiny boop, 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 and then bop, 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 bop. Of course, it wasn't going that fast because I had to find the little hole, which was just. So I finished a whopping 2 rows on this special teacher cross stitch. And I was just looking at it like, I don't understand how people do this. I don't think that's gonna stick, y'all. I don't think so. But I'm going to finish that cross stitch because I want to, like, I want it to be finished. Like when I tried what was that thing I tried? needle punch, rug punch, something punch. Like I did the whole R. Like I finished that. And I just need to put it in a little frame, and then it'll be like, oh, look what I made that one time. So this, I need to just finish the project, and then when I finish it, then I can make my final judgment as to whether Kalisha is going to be also a cross stitcher. I don't really think it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna try it anyway. It just takes so long. But also, before I knew how to knit, I looked at knitting and was like, oh my gosh, that just takes so long. How do people even do that? And now I'm just like, this is great. I love knitting. So maybe the same thing will happen with cross stitching by the time I finish this project. But I mean, I'm gonna stick with it for like through the first one. So that's that. The next thing I want to mention in works in progress, I feel like I have so many like blips and works in progress this week, but it's not really a lot of things, at least I don't think it is. Is my blanket for the As Seen on TV cowl. So if you don't know, the As Seen on TV cowl is a crochet along or knit along, you're welcome to knit, that Melody of the Melody Crochet podcast and I are hosting. It is basically you can either remake an item that you saw on TV or a movie, or make something inspired by something that you saw on TV or a movie. It is running, it's been running for like a couple weeks now, but it goes until June 6th. Nope, lies, June 1st. And the chatter thread is in Melody's Ravelry group, and the finished object thread will be in mine. So of course, links down below where you can go and chatter. There have been some really cool plans that people have been talking about in the chatter thread. Somebody's making a, not an umbrella, it's like a fancy umbrella. What are they called? Parasol? Yes. Someone's making a lace parasol, which is going to be completely dope. I'm so excited to see that happen. Of course, there's lots of blankets. Someone recently posted a picture of a blanket that was like in the background of Young Sheldon, which that is an awesome TV show. I love it. I also love Sheldon. He's so great. But you've got those. I'm going to be doing a blanket I saw in the background of Southside with You, and this is how it's going. So I'll put up a picture of the blanket so that you can see it. I wasn't able to find a pattern for the blanket, so basically what I'm working from is my photographs of the TV screen, which not good quality at all, y'all. So I was trying to work out what was happening in each one of these little motifs, and I kind of got a general idea. I was trying to figure this out, and then I was like, you know what, let me go on Pinterest and just look up granny square afghans and see if there's something similar, and then I can use that as like a springboard into what it is. So I was able to find, I think it's either one or two patterns that are very similar to the square in the blanket. So I'm going to be using those as like my structure, and then like tweaking it to get closer to the blanket. So this, and you can't even really see, at least I don't think so. Well, you kind of can. So one of the main things that I noticed was that each square had a large opening. So it was not made with a magic circle to start. So I forget how many I chained in here, probably like 6, just to make sure the opening was large. Now in this incarnation of the square, it does have these spaces here, but I don't see those spaces in the original one. So I have to work out a way to, sorry guys, my nose is itching. I have to work out a way to omit those spaces in the first round. And then going into the second round, each corner has these little clusters in it. So I like how this is going. The pattern that I found that had clusters in the corners and then solid bits in the, like, on the sides, when I was crocheting it, it was leaving like big gaps right next to the clusters, which you don't see in the original picture. So that's another thing that I have to adjust for. But I think this is a pretty good start. Am I about to frog this? Yes. I think this is a pretty good start. I'm going to finish up the whole square following this particular recipe. And these are the colors, I think these are the colors that I'm going to be doing the finished blanket in, because my intent is to give this as a gift to my friend Ricky. So I'm using, what is this? Red Heart? It's probably Red Heart in like a navy color. And then this is Karen United. All three of them, of course, 100% acrylic, worsted weight. This color is light blue, and this one, soft gray heather. So these are going to be my colors. The soft gray heather is going to be striped, like each alternating stripe is going to be the soft gray heather, and then the dark blue and light blue are going to be the contrast colors. So it'll be gray, dark blue, gray, light blue, gray. Y'all, I might have to rethink this because I just realized this is literally all I have of this yarn. It's for a baby. Babies are little, so that just means I can't cut this. If it's wrong, I have to frog it. So, yeah. And I'm working it with a 5.5mm hook. Which letter is this? I. Kiva, can you please get out the bushes? Every time I'm out here podcasting and I bring Kiva with me, she decides to go, she's about to cause an earthquake, y'all. Oh, good job, Kiva, not causing an earthquake. Every time I'm out here podcasting and I have her out here with me, she decides that this is the time for her to get in touch with her wild side, and she literally goes like sniffing through the bushes, like underneath the bushes. Mind you, like 2 weeks ago, I saw a snake in there. Kiva, please don't get got by a snake. She's a wild dog, y'all. She's wild. Knowing good and well, if a lizard jumps down out of that bush, she's going to break her neck trying to run away. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a tick check on you, Kiva. Is it tick season? Is there such a thing as tick season? Oh well. So, that is the As Seen on TV cow blanket. I hope you join in. Make something that you saw on TV, a movie. Go chat in the thread. And yeah, there will be prizes. I'm trying to think of what kind of prizes I want to have. In my mind, I of course I want to make a project bag because that's like what I do on the side. But in my mind, I want a project bag that has something to do with TV. I would love to find a fabric that's like either like static, or either static, Nicktoons, the color blocks, like you know how like the old analog TVs, like if the channel wasn't good or something like that, it would have like the blocks, or you saw that like on VHS tapes, stuff like that. I want something like that, but I'm that's what I'm looking for, like the perfect one. But I definitely want to do that. There'll probably be some yarn, some notions, some goodies from Florida. I don't know yet, guys. I don't know. So yeah, we are moving right along to the last two things on my works in progress. So I think last week, it was either last week or the week before. I think it was last week. Last week, Monday, I sent the Puppy Love Shawl pattern out to my testers, and I was like super excited, and low-key terrified at the same time, because like I feel like this is the biggest thing I've done as a creator, as far as coming up with something in my mind and then writing out a pattern and having somebody else make that pattern, like something that wasn't like super simple, you know. And my lovely testers have been sending me pictures on Instagram. They're also tagging with hashtag Puppy Love Shawl. So if you want to see like any of their work, check out that tag on Instagram. But oh my gosh, they have been working on the pattern, and it's very simple, like, you know, simple stitches up until the crochet brioche section. And I was so nervous about the crochet brioche because it made sense to me, but then like it came out of my brain, so of course it would make sense. So I worked so hard on trying to figure out what way I should explain this so that somebody else can do it without a video. So I sent them the instructions, or the pattern, and they've been working on it, and they sent me back pictures, and they've made it to the crochet, or the brioche bit. And one of my testers sent me a picture and said, "Does this look right?" And when I tell you, like, it was such a great feeling because it was correct. I was just like I messaged back like, "Yay, hooray, that's perfect." But like there was so much excitement that could not be like explained through just text messaging. So oh my gosh. And then my other tester sent me a picture. She had gotten a little further and she was like, "Is this right?" And I was just like, they just made my entire week, y'all. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is the best feeling ever. So they're making their way through the pattern. So far so good. There were a couple abbreviation errors that I forgot to correct, but so far so good, y'all. So I'm really excited about it. So I'll put up some pictures of my testers' pieces so that you guys can see. Of course, like I said earlier, if you look at the hashtag Puppy Love Shawl, you will see their progress. And then also I took a really cute picture of Kiva, my dog, the other day, because she was actually snuggling with the Puppy Love Shawl, and it just matches her perfectly, and that just makes me so happy on the inside, because that was the whole thing about the shawl. It was in honor of my puppies. So that's that. And then the very last thing in works in progress is actually not yarn related at all. So yesterday, April 22nd, was Earth Day, and I decided that it would be the perfect chance to restart my my garden. A couple years ago, when actually I started this list when I turned 29, and you know, I had my 30 things I want to do before I turn 30. Didn't do them all, still haven't done them all, but we're not even going to talk about that. One of the things on there was to plant a garden, and I decided I wanted to do a container garden because I felt like that would be a small way to like get into it and see if gardening is something that I really like. And I really did enjoy it. Full of struggles. Like, the struggle was real with the garden pests and keeping these plants alive. OMG. But I really enjoyed it. So I decided again this year that I wanted to start another garden, and I actually have been thinking about it for a couple weeks. So when Earth Day came around, I was like, well, obviously this is the best day to start something like this. So after I got off work yesterday, I went to the store, I picked up some plants. I put in a little video of of how they look right now. I just planted them last night, or I just put them in the pots last night. I have 6, and they're sitting right in front of me. I have 6 plants that I bought and repotted, and then I have over here seeds that I'm starting. So by the time this video goes up, I would have already posted the video of me starting the garden and getting everybody planted and getting the seeds started and everything like that. So you would have seen them get settled. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Fingers crossed, by the time, let's cross all the fingers, by the time these babies grow up, I will actually have vegetables to show for it. My main goal is to get a cucumber, because cucumbers were my nemesis, y'all. Like, straight up, they were not here for me. I tried so hard. I was babying these plants. I was out here picking pests off of them by hand. I was just like nursing these plants like they were infants. Just, what do you need? How can I help you? Like, what kind of like nourishment? Do I need to get you a different color pot? How much do you need to be watered? I need to water you extra a lot. Like, do you need to be in the shade in the morning, in the sun in the afternoon? Like, what do we need to do so that we can get a cucumber? I got a tiny little cucumber. It was like this big, and I ate that cucumber. I sliced it up with a little teeny tiny knife, and me and Lamar ate that cucumber. I was very excited about it. But this year I want to have, like, not a little nublet of a cucumber. I want a legit cucumber. You hear that, cucumber seeds? I want a legit cucumber. We're in this together. I planted so many cucumber seeds, y'all. It's gonna be ridiculous. But I decree and declare I'm getting a cucumber. I want one. So that is the last thing in my works in progress. I do have a little bit more setup that I want to do on my garden today. So after I finish filming this, I'm going to make a run to the store to get some more soil. I'll probably pick up some more plant food, because I'm pretty sure the plant food that I have from a couple years ago, I probably shouldn't feed it to my plants. Does that stuff expire? I don't know. So I'm gonna pick up soil, plant food, some other stuff. I want to get little like little names, little flags, so that I know what's planted where, because in my little seedling starter, this is how they're sitting right now. So in this container I have cucumbers. There's like four slots of cucumbers, and then four slots of cucumbers, 2 slots of this garden bean, and then 2 slots of this garden bean. And I want to get like little name tags to put so that I know what is what when they start sprouting. So what I'm gonna do in here, I haven't watered these yet. I literally just put the seeds into the dirt like last night after sunset. I'm gonna water them, and then I'm gonna take saran wrap and put over the top so that it makes like a greenhouse, so that I can get these seedlings started pretty fast. So I did that last time when I was starting seeds, and it worked really well. So I've got 2 little pots like that down there with the seeds, and then my big kids over here. Yeah. So excited about that. So that will take us into maker plans. So last week I talked about dyeing yarn for a new shawl that I was going to be making, that I was calling my Just Feel Better shawl. So at the time I had gone on Ravelry and found this pattern that I wanted to follow. It wasn't really like a pattern, it was more so of like a like scrappy, triangular shaped, one of those shawls that you can just keep going and going and going until you're done. And it was all well and good, but it was just not like moving me the way that I wanted to be moved with this particular shawl idea. So I decided to take it a different direction and do something super simple. And I actually went back to like the crochet basics. So I decided I wanted it to be crocheted because crochet was my first yarn language. Crochet is something that is very calming for me. It makes me happy. Like, not that knitting isn't calming and relaxing and makes me happy, but when it's like the first thing that you learn to do and it's that first thing that brought you into this space, that's where I wanted the Just Feel Better shawl to branch from. I wanted its roots to be there. So I decided, excuse me, let me get comfortable again. So I decided that I wanted to do a crochet shawl. I wanted it to be kind of in the same idea as that knit shawl, where it starts off small on one side and then just increases until we're done. It is going to still be striped with the gray yarn and then all of my hand dyed ones. And I decided that I wanted it to be a granny stitch. So this is the mock-up, like the swatch, I guess, if you will. So it has a straight edge, and then all of the increases are on this side. I'm just carrying the yarn up the side. It's a little messy, but whatever. How can we best show this? Here we go. So this is how it looks so far. This bit is just pulled a little bit because whatever. So you guys get the idea. So all of the increases are along this side. This side will be straight. And for this, I guess, swatch, I'm using Wool-like, Loops and Threads Wool-like. This is the charcoal colorway, and then I'm using the one that I dyed myself. So this is like a mixture of blues and purples. And I've got 6 rows of gray and then 4 rows of the blurple. And I put my little stitch marker here, or progress keeper, that says choose happy. So that will definitely move onto my actual shawl when I get it started. I'm using a 4.25 millimeter hook that Melody of the Melody Crochet podcast made. She sent this to me in our birthday slap. So this is also making me happy. And this is the basis of the shawl. So one adjustment that I think I'm going to make, I'm only doing 1 increase here, so each row gets 1 cluster, bigger. I think what I'm going to try is doing 1 increase and then a flat row, and then I'm going to do a double increase. And in my brain, that should make this curve harder. So I want something that's going to be like real snuggly and lend itself to that like wraparound feeling, I think. So I mean, whatever. We're just making. We're just going along and making and seeing what happens. And I'm actually really proud of myself because I thought I did not like crocheting with fingering weight yarn, and this has actually been very like simple, and I actually like how light it feels in my hands. Since I'm used to crocheting with worsted weight or DK weight or like heavier yarns like that, this was just like webs. I don't know, it made me feel like I was crocheting with like spider legs or something. But I really like how it's coming out. I like how delicate it feels, how light it feels, and I'm probably just going to continue this and make this into an actual shawl. Once I figure out how I want those increases to be worked, then I will start with my actual Just Feel Better shawl. So excited about that. And talking about the Just Feel Better shawl, we'll go right into stash positions, which the first stash position that I wanted to show you are my new dyed yarns for that shawl. I dyed a couple more minis. Oh, you can actually see the difference in those yellows. I mean, they look very similar because I dyed them both with the red lemon yellow, and then the green was originally a lemon yellow that was kind of like mottled, so it was like almost space dyed but not. So it had lighter white areas and then yellow and stuff like that. Didn't like how it looked, so I dunked it in green. And this is I used a little bit of the Kelly green and a little bit of this neon blue food coloring that I had. So I've talked about the way that I dye yarn in the past. I'm very much like, just throw a little bit in, let's see what happens. Like one shot, I don't write anything down. If I love a color, I better hope that I dyed enough of it to do something with, because I can't recreate it. I can't do it. So because of that, after I dyed this in that neon blue, I still had neon blue in the pot. So I wanted to use it out. So I threw another skein in, and this is what came out. Oh man, you can't see it. Where's the sun coming from? It's like a beautiful icy blue with little hints of like seafoam green. Like that was a total surprise when it came out, and I love it. It's gorgeous. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this little baby. Oh, hello, there it is. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this little baby. I think it's 20 grams, so more than likely it will end up being heels, toes, and cuffs of a pair of socks, so I'm excited about that. So back to these. I've got the two yellows. They're more or less like close to solid / tonal. The top one has less dye than the bottom one, so you can kind of see how this one is a little bit lighter. They don't look any different right there, but they are a little bit. So they've gone, I put them in the line. This one I put in the line. I really like the strong tonalities in this one. That makes me happy. So I think that's all that I'm going to dye for the Just Feel Better shawl. And thinking about it now, I don't know if I want to mix gray with this. I feel like gray will just kind of subdue them, and I don't really want them subdued. I want them to retain like their brightness. So I think I might look for just like an undyed. So just a white or a cream, like natural color fingering weight to go with this. So those are the newest dyed babies. Now, since I have two of those, since they are so close together in color, I did pull these out, and I think I might put them back into the dye pot and add some more variation. But these are the Color Lab like cotton dyes in the Lemonade and Citron. These are from Hobby Lobby. They have these kits, like dye your own yarn kits, and they each come with like pre-measured like dye bottles, and it tells you like filled to this line with water. You shake it up, you squirt it on your yarn, and then I think it has you, like in the kit, it comes with cotton yarn. They have you let it sit for like, I don't know, 24 hours or something, rinse it out, and then you're good to go. But of course, you know, I'm gonna go renegade and I think I might use these on those two yellows just to make them a bit different to each other, so that when I put them into the shawl, you'll be able to see the differences. I don't know, I just pulled them out because maybe that will happen. The next thing that I got for my stash position, I got a couple books. The other day I went thrifting, and I found 2 books. One was from the actual thrift store. It was like $1.99. The other, there's a bookstore, like a used bookstore next to the thrift store that in the past, whenever I had gone over there, was always closed. So when I went there the other day, it was open. I was like, let me go in here and see what they have. And they had a pretty cool crafty section. It was small, but I mean, that's to be expected almost, right? So, ouch. So this is the book that I got from the used bookstore. Knitting School, a complete course. So this book has just information about how to do like all kinds of things. So different cast-ons, different increases and decreases, and everything, everything is illustrated really clearly, which I like. How to do different neck treatments, everything. Correcting mistakes, creating buttonholes and loops and sewing and all that stuff. So especially since I am getting more into creating my own like patterns and ideas and stuff like that, this is something that will be very helpful for me if I wanted to cross over into the knitting world of creating or of pattern writing. Then I found this book from the actual thrift store. It was $1.99. Oh, $5. This one was $1.99, and I love old like knitting and crochet books and stuff. This one smells like somebody's granny's attic, and that just makes me happy on the inside for some unknown reason. So this one has like stuff like this. I kind of want to make that. Is that weird? I kind of want to make that. But what I really like in here is that because a lot of times when I see books that say they're knitting and crochet, they'll be like 90% knitting and like 10% crochet. And to me, I'm like, that's not knitting and crochet. That's like knitting. Oh, by the way, here's a crochet pattern. But excuse me, one of the things, and of course I can't find it right now, but one of the things that I thought was really cool in this book, a lot of the patterns that they show, or a lot of the ideas, they have equivalents. So there'll be something knitted with that idea and then something crocheted with that idea. And I thought that was really cool. That's definitely a way to, you know, incorporate both art forms. Oh, here's the example. So that's the knitted sweater, that's the crocheted sweater. So regardless of what kind of, you know, needle language you speak, there you go. So I thought that was really cool. Another thing that I thought was really cool about this book, let me see if I can find it. There it is. Can you see that copyright? 1986. Me and this book are the same age. I don't know, I got that just made me laugh and endeared this book to me all the more. So those are my 2 book stash acquisitions. The last 2 things I wanted to show you are a couple balls of yarn that I got from Walmart. I don't know if you know, but our beloved Mandala yarn has come out with new colorways. Yes, it's true. And I have been haunting my local Walmarts looking for these. Now, I don't know if these particular ones were actually stocked in my Walmart or if somebody purchased them online and then returned them. I don't know. I don't care because now they're mine. So there's new colorways for the regular Mandala, and then they also came out with Mandala Baby. There is no difference between regular Mandala and Mandala Baby. It's the same amount of yarn, the same weight. I don't even know why they called this baby. Maybe the colors? I don't know, because it's not like the baby yarns are a lot of pastel colors like you normally see baby yarns. I don't know, they just put baby on the label and then put like a picture of a baby and now it's baby yarn. Whatever, I don't care. But the baby yarn is cheaper than the regular mandala by $1. So, okay. So I went to Walmart and I found these two. This one is, they're both Mandala Baby. This one is Atlantis. And this one is Unicorn Cloud. So I'm very excited about these. This is the label for the new Mandala Baby. See, they just put baby on it. It's still number 3 yarn for like the weight, so like a DK weight, 100% acrylic, 150 grams for 590 yards or 540 meters. Like, it's exactly the same as the regular mandala, but this costs $3.98. The regular mandala is like $4.90 something. So, okay. So I'm super excited to try, like, to come up with something with these or for these. I'm not sure what I want to do. I do want, whatever I create with this, I am going to pull the very center out because it's got like a smidge of green in there, and I'm like, come on dude, come on. So I'm going to pull that out and probably attach it to the outside because the outside has that green as well. So yeah. Atlantis. What was this? Unicorn Cloud. So I'm excited about these. So yeah, all of my stash positions, and normally we would be going into black fibers, black threads, but I actually don't have a black fibers, black threads segment this week. Not in the way that I have been doing it. This black fibers, black threads, I just kind of wanted to talk about like family. Primarily because last night when I was working on Big Green, I got a notification for my YouTube channel. So I clicked on it and I had a new subscriber, and the new subscriber was my mom. Yes, I have come to a new level. My mother is subscribed to my YouTube channel. Do you know how long I've been trying to get her to watch these videos? So long. So long. This is episode 36, and I'm pretty sure she's only watched one. But that's gonna change now because she's subscribed. Now I just have to get her to go to YouTube. That's it. And but that makes me like really happy, you know, when like knowing that my mom is really into like the things that I create and stuff. So she's such a supporter of anything that I do. She's definitely the most knit-worthy person that I know, and she FaceTimed me the other day because I sent her the braiding party hat that I made for her. She FaceTimed me wearing it, and she was like, hey, look at the hat. It fits so nicely. I love it. Oh my goodness, this is great. And she just makes me feel so good on the inside. So like having a support system or having a family that, you know, appreciates your artistry or the things that you're doing or the things that you're excited about is such a motivator. Because whenever I'm creating something and I tell her about it, she's like, yeah, that sounds really good. And she tells people about the things that I've made for her. Like whenever she wears her hand knit socks, she's always like, my daughter made these. And I was on the phone with her the other day, and she was at a church member's house, and she was telling her like, yeah, you know, Kalisha, she made me this hat and she sent me some of her business cards, so I'll have some for you at church so you can go ahead and check out her shop. Thanks, Mom. So hi Mom, if you're watching, I really hope you are. Yeah, but as I mentioned when I did the fiber tag, my mom is the person who taught me how to crochet. She taught me how to do the granny stitch, and how to do the regular, you know, just double crochet or US terms. And so whenever I do things like, you know, like this, I'm always like, I always think about my mom, because like, I don't even know why she taught me to crochet. I don't know how that came up. I don't know, but I'm just so grateful that she had that skill that she was able to share with me, that has caused me to be able to blossom in such a special way in this particular area. And I just really appreciate her. And if I keep talking like this, I'm gonna make myself cry, and nobody will see me cry again. I cry like every other episode. So definitely in the creation of the Just Feel Better shawl, I've been thinking a lot about my mom, and how whenever I am down or whenever I am going through things, she's the first person I call. And that woman is so positive. Like, I've gotten comments on here saying I'm positive. I got nothing on Crystal. Like, I call her, and she's a guidance counselor for an elementary school. And I'll call her in the middle of the day, and she'll be walking down the hallways of her school. And y'all, her footsteps sound happy. Like, how is that a thing? She'll answer the phone, and I just hear her just walking. It's like, do, 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 do. Like that's how my mom walks around. Just, and I say, hey mom, how are you? I'm just wonderful, just wonderful, just wonderful. That's what she says all the time, regardless of if she's in pain with her back, or if some kid has done some crazy thing at school. She's like, I'm good, I'm happy, God is blessed, like I have nothing to complain about, I'm in the land of the living. And I just really appreciate her desire to always be a positive influence on my life. And I just so I just hope that my positivity is just even a fraction of hers. I hope that my impact on someone else's life is even a fraction of her impact on mine. So thanks, Mom, for being awesome. All of this is your fault. So yeah, you guys can thank Crystal for teaching me how to crochet, and for opening up my eyes to the world of yarn. This is all her fault. So that's it, guys. That's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope that it made you smile. Yeah. So as usual, leave a comment down below of something positive that happened to you today, or not even today, this week, period. Something positive that happened to you. It can even be an old memory, something great that you want to share to uplift somebody else's day, because I do love reading, you know, the comments that you guys leave. And I have noticed a couple times that other people have read the comments and will leave comments on them. So that's like what I want to foster. So I hope that you all had a great week. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Leave those comments down below of your positive moments. And I am going to go ahead and sign off and head out to the store for some garden goodies. Bye. Thanks for being part of my universe. Bye.
Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing just wonderful.
Do you want to say hi to the podcast friends?
Sure.
Say hi.
Hi, podcast friends. It is so nice to get a chance to say hi to you all. Thank you so much for following my daughter. She's such an awesome young lady. And I know that you are learning so much from her podcast. Keep us all in your prayers. Bye.
I was talking about you on this week's episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have to watch it. I saw that you subscribed.
I did.
You're so awesome.
I saw your response to my subscribing to your podcast. Your reaction.
I said on the episode, I was like, guys, I have reached a new level. My mother is subscribed to my podcast.